Hi, I'm Dr. David Kashmer. Welcome to the on-demand webinar about why smart students bomb cars and how to actually beat it. This is provided by MCAT Smackdown, and the team asked me to help out. My background includes being a medical school admissions committee chair, associate dean of simulation and innovation. Uh, I wear a lot of hats. I'm glad to be able to help you today with something I see trip students up a lot. That's cars. Let's get to it. This is probably the section you're most afraid of on the MCAT. Not everybody is, but a lot sure are, and here's why. Cars looks like a dense passage on philosophy or arts or ethics. There's a stopwatch with it. Answer choices often all look right to people, and there's nothing to memorize. There's no formula. There's no fact to recall. The cruel irony is, cars is the section where our hardest workers tend to score the lowest. The 4.0 chemistry major with a strong background who's crushed every science section often walks out shaking their head. Why? Well, that's because cars doesn't test what you know. It tests how you think, and how you think under time and on material that you've never seen. So by the end of this training, we're going to get back to why training and studying harder, why studying harder in the classic way doesn't move your car score. Training will. The mental habit capping most students is in this talk, and the 5 shifts that make cars trainable. And also, how to diagnose your car's problem today, all free. Let's go. Well, let me tell you a little bit about me and why I helped build MCAT Smackdown. That's because I kept watching hardworking, brilliant students treat cars like a content section. They would read more, they would highlight more, they'd study more, they'd get nowhere. It's not a knowledge failure, it's a method failure. That helped me, that led me to help start MCAT Smackdown. Well, who am I? I'm a board-certified surgeon. I've trained residents through some of the hardest board exams in medicine, and I chair a medical school admissions committee. Cars, let me tell you, is not a reading test. It's a reasoning test, and it happens to use reading to get there. You already know how to read, and what cars punishes is how you reason about what you read, and that is a trainable skill. Why smart students bomb cars? Well, cars punishes 3 things that smart students do automatically. One is they bring in outside knowledge. The smarter you are, the more you know, and on cars, that's sometimes a liability. Your brain fills in what you believe instead of what the author argued. So cars answers are almost never just what's true. They're what did the author say? So the fix is if you answer from the text, you never answer from your own knowledge. So we take it right from the text. Trap 2 is cognitive overload, and this is a big one. Your working memory is limited, and under a stopwatch, it floods. You're trying to track the argument, fight the clock, manage anxiety, and you're trying to do it all at once. Reasoning collapses even when your reading is fine. And this is cognitive load theory. The fix is a repeatable process that offloads the work so that your working memory has room to reason. And here's trap 3, no feedback loop. On cars, most students review a wrong answer and think, oh yeah, okay, well, no, I see it now. And they learn nothing transferable to the next question. Now, without naming the error pattern, like what is it, scope trap? Is it extreme language? Is it an unsupported inference? You just repeat the same mistake again and again on that next passage. The fix is a pattern-level feedback loop. None of these traps get fixed by reading more passages. You really have to change the method. These are the 5 cars shifts. First, read for structure, not content. You track the argument, you get the author's claim, maybe you label it. You look at their pivots. You look what side they're on. Structure is what the questions test, and that detail is what drowns and overloads you. 2, answer from the passage, never from yourself. For every question, ask, can I point to the line that proves this? And if you can't prove it, well, it's wrong, no matter how true it might be in the real world or in your knowledge base. 3 is prephrase before you look. Answer the question in your own head before you read the choices. Then you find the match. So step 1 is read the question that's being asked. Step 2 is phrase your own answer. Step 3 is look at the individual questions. Sometimes reading the particular questions even before reading the passage can be useful. It depends. We cover it in the course. Number 4, learn the trap patterns, not the passages. There's a small number of wrong answer archetypes. There are only a few wrong answer distractor types that can go in there. Too extreme, out of scope, half right but not fully right, and opposite. Name them on sight and you eliminate 2 choices instantly. Build a pattern level error log. Man, this one is key. After every set, name why you missed it by trap type. You do this for 2 weeks and you're going to see your score improve. You're going to see a personal pattern that you fall into and you'll be able to address it directly. Well, let's diagnose your car's problem right now, at least kind of. Let's get you an idea. So answer honestly, pause, and reflect on each question. This isn't perfect, and in the course at the beginning, the diagnostic really helps zoom in on your particular issues, but this sure does help. So let's take a minute and think about it. For example, do you misread or a wrong choice? If you miss a question and your reaction is, I read it fine, but I picked wrong, your problem is reasoning and trap recognition, not reading. So the first question is, do you do misreads? Do you do wrong choices? Do you think you do? But if you miss questions and your typical reaction is, I read it fine, I just picked wrong. The problem is reasoning and trap recognition. It's not a reading problem. 2, timing or accuracy. Do you run out of time or do you finish with low accuracy? These are different leaks with different fixes. 3, can you name the pattern? Can you name why you missed your last 5 cars questions that you missed? If you can't, you don't have a feedback loop. And that alone is capping your score. Next, did you pick true over passage? You picked an answer because it's true. You're smart, you know it. But the passage didn't say it. This one is the single most common reason strong students bomb cars. Cars is the most diagnosable section, and there's kind of a workflow, a journey to it. In 4 questions, you may have just learned more about your car's problem than months of blind practice would teach you. The traps are finite and they're repeatable and they're avoidable. 1 is identify your trap. You need to pinpoint your recurring car's mistake. MCAT Smackdown helps with that. 2, targeted reps. Drill focused practice on that pattern. Next, the automatic recognition. Train it to the point where you build fast, instinctive spotting skills. And then you get there. That's the journey of cars improvement. Unlike the sciences where wrong answers they show you missing facts, cars doesn't really help unless you have a feedback loop and you can reveal your missing reasoning patterns. Once you name the pattern, your practice reps become targeted and your score finally moves. Well, here are 3 ways in to MCAT Smackdown, to not be afraid of cars, to get your car's best self shown on the exam. Here's how. First, there's a totally free assessment. Take the MCAT readiness assessment. It's at MCATSmackdown.com. About 20 minutes or so, depending on your pace. It identifies which section is leaking your points. Doesn't take that long. It's not linked directly beneath this video, but again, it's MCATSmackdown.com. We'll try to put it in the comments. Do this the moment the video ends. Get to it. You have the time. Confirm that cars is your big barrier or how much of a barrier it is for you. Next, the book. It's called Seal the Leaks. It's an MCAT review book from MCAT Smackdown. That's available on Kindle, also in paperback, on Amazon in paperback. Has a lot of high-yield images that are very helpful. It lays out some of the CARS method, so you can see exactly how it works. This is the on-ramp if you're not really ready to commit to the full course. And then there's the live course. This is the big hero offer. It's the big needle mover for people. It includes a deep diagnostic pinpointing your specific traps. It has live drilling of trap types. It's got the pattern level feedback loop, and it's backed by the score improvement guarantee that if you do the work, if your score doesn't budge, you get the guarantee you're able to take the course as many times as you need to to get where you need to go for no additional fee. Well, this is why that fee for the course is the cheapest decision you'll make and why it's a worthwhile investment. Put in perspective, a single hour with a private cars tutor can be $100 to $200. The course per hour doesn't cost that much. There's a proven system behind it instead of a stranger winging it. What's really at stake? Another testing cycle, a retake, an application that doesn't open the doors you want. Against that, fixing cars once is the cheapest decision in the entire process. It's also backed by the score improvement guarantee. You can take as many times as you need to. The risk is essentially zero. What the course delivers? Deep diagnostic with trap pattern, drilling on traps, pattern level feedback loop, score improvement guarantee, and a system, not a stranger winging it. We've all done this before, and we designed this course to make sure you get the best outcome possible. If you can't cram cars, you best believe you can train it. The student who starts training trap patterns 3 months out, with a real system and real feedback, they walk in calm. The one who waits is still guessing on test day. Step 1 is take that free assessment, MCAT This will confirm cars is your weakest section if it is, or tell you how much work there is to do. Step 2, there's a $17.99 book that will explain some of the method, but the course itself is where you really get what you need with the AI coach, kind of more of what you need. It's really very useful for our student colleagues to go through it. You'll train until cars is automatic. Your exam date probably isn't moving if you set it already. The only variable you can control is when you get inside a system that works. So go ahead and take that free assessment now at MCATSmackdown.com. Look forward to talking with you. Hope you found this very useful to diagnose your car's leak, and see you soon.